Hello, everybody. Welcome to ALAMUSIC Presents. My name is Alicia. I'm here with one of my DJ guests, Alex, aka He-Menace. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This is super duper fun. It's really cool. Yeah.
So, we'll start off with your DJ name, Jimenez. So it has a personal connection to your last name. Can you tell us more about how it came to be and what it means to you?
So it was always kind of like a thing amongst my friends and I. They would always be like Jimenez, or trying to like find different ways to pronounce it. And I was like, guys, it's just Jimenez. I kept saying it, and I'm just like, it's he and Menace. And then I had this woodshop teacher in the 12th grade, and like every time I'd come into class after I would say that, he would go He-Menace. So it kind of just like rang with everyone, like everyone in my class and my friends would be like, oh, that's He-Menace. So like, it was just kind of became more of a common thing. And then I wanted to keep my DJ name authentic. I didn't really want to be corny and be like DJ Biddy Boom Bop, or I don't know. I just want to keep it authentic to myself. I'm like, you know what, this is a funny, kind of like spin on my own name. So yeah, so I chose it that way. Yeah.
Nice. Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez. Yeah.
I like it. So growing up with both Colombian and Nicaraguan roots, how have your cultural influences shaped your approach to music?
They have massively shaped my approach, especially when it comes to like when I dig into like organic house music and stuff like that. Like a lot of these songs come from stuff that I grew up listening to, like Sundays when my mom was cleaning, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, especially like the Colombian like percussion style, you know what I mean? And it was definitely like music was huge in my family, and like it's just always something that we kind of use as like bonding, and like we're not necessarily like some of us are musicians and all that, but we're also just like very musical people. Like we're just dancing lively, just kind of doing our thing. Yeah. So it definitely like also like digging for music. I kind of really learned that from just like digging for stuff from my own roots, and then I kind of just, I got used to it, and like I enjoyed getting lost in music through that, and then it just kind of translated into this.
Nice. So you mentioned to me earlier your love for electronic music started at 17.
Correct.
But it wasn't until 2023 that you fully dove into DJing. So what was that turning point? Like what made you really kind of shift those gears?
Yeah, so for me, pretty much I got snuck into a rave when I was 17, and then when I kind of just saw everything, I was like, I want to do this. This looks cool. It was a whole different style of music. It just opened my third eye, and I was just kind of like riding with it. And but I knew, I was like, you know what, I really want to get to know whatever genre of music I decide to dedicate time to. So I just stuck to just listening to music and finding music. And it's really cool because I have this one playlist that I had from the time where I just like started listening to house and all that. All that, and you can see it progress from like the more mainstream guys like John Summit, Fisher, and then it starts going to Facundo Moore and like Honey Dijon and all these different people as the more I found and dug for music. And then in like Christmas time 2023, I was just like thrifting with a friend of mine, and I just saw a DDJ 200 perfect condition out of Value Village, and I was just like, it's a sign. Like it was like $30. I was like, maybe it doesn't work. Worst case, I'll take the risk. And it worked. I started like practicing like every day. I'm like, okay, let's just get on this, figure it out, watching YouTube videos and like all this stuff. And then, I just started getting really into it through that. Yeah. And that was kind of like the turning point process. Yeah.
Nice. So deep house was what like your entry point, or kind of house music, but you explore everything from melodic techno to indie dance, and like you were talking about kind of really honing in and expanding what you're listening to. So how do you decide like what to play at a set? Like what's your process for preparing for a set?
So I initially think of where I'm playing this set. I like to think of like envision myself like as a dancer in this place, looking at these things around me. How do I want to feel, and then anytime I'm like curating a place for where I'm going to play, I always think of it as like from a dancer's perspective to the experience, like how can this progress? How can this also, like, for example, right now I'm preparing for a sunset. So I've been
Where is the sunset going to
it's
take
going to
place?
be in Playa Mango in Ometepe, Nicaragua. So it'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty fun. I've played there before, and so the thing that's nice there is that, like, there's the volcano there, and it has like a little microclimate, so it's like always kind of like cloudy, so like you get like these really like dark red rays of sunlight during the sunsets. So I like to keep it very like dark and red. Like, I don't know, I guess the sound and energy that I'm trying to create is just kind of like that, like mystical kind of like close your eyes energy kind of vibe, just like get lost in what you're seeing. So and it'll change, because then sometimes it'll be, for example, like Beyond City Beats, you know, where it's just people like they're like having drinks. I'll just kind of keep it upbeat enough so that they can keep a conversation going, but also keep it like a relative groove that, like, hey, there's still stuff going on, but we can converse, we can, you know, chat. But yeah, it's like different little things like that definitely go into how I select music for sets. But yeah, I definitely always think of, if I was not myself seeing and hearing me play, what would I want to hear? And then I go from there.
Perfect. Nice. So becoming a resident DJ at Rain Dance Hostel in Nicaragua. When was this?
This was August of 2024.
Okay, so August 2024. So that must have been a really awesome, unique experience.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from that? Like, how did that come about?
Man, I always joke with my friends. I got forged in the fire in that moment. Like, I went from like bedroom DJ to like I thought a long time was an hour mix, and then I got there and they're like, you gotta go for like 4 or 5 hours, dude. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I don't even know if I have enough music for that. And I was like, no. And then I learned too, like, I won't lie, my first gig there, I bombed. I absolutely bombed. I just started playing bangers immediately early in the night. And then I got to like maybe like 2 hours in, and I was like, oh, this is I'm like thinking like, what am I gonna play? How can I keep these people's energy up without repeating songs? But then I really figured out from there how to balance out a night. Yeah, that was like probably the biggest takeaway I could have taken from that, was understanding that it's you can't go too hard, you don't want to tire them out too early. You can't go too light either, to the point where like you just got to find that like middle ground. And it's just it's a game of tension almost. You know, it's just like you bring them up and you're bringing them down, and you bring them up and you're bringing them down, and you want to make it acceptable and flowy. And then also, like, it was funny, like we had the Beyond City Beats the other time we lost power, and Alex and I were literally talking about how when I was in Nicaragua we would lose power all the time. Like it was like we'd be in the middle of a set and then the whole thing just went black, and we're like, no, everyone's ready to go to the generators and try to get it going again. And I'm like trying to set a loop so I could like maybe salvage the night. But like, it was just chaos. But I understood from that point onward, like now it's like, I don't know, I feel like issues and things that I'll run into over the course of the night, because I had to experience a lot more like serious random issues, like we're getting poured on in the rain, carrying speakers down, trying to like switch locations. So like now I feel like everything else is like, oh, it's not as bad. You know, it's not as bad as
it could be worse.
It could be worse. Exactly. It could be worse. Yeah.
Cool. So beyond clubs, you've also played at house parties and underground events. So how does the energy differ? Because I know we're talking a lot about that. And so what is your like favorite kind of crowd to play for, or like if you have one?
I would say I like doing more so the house party crowd, mainly because I find when you're in a club or you're in a venue where what you're going to play is expected. You know what I mean? You kind of have people there like, okay, this is going to be a house night. It's going to be a house DJ. We're going to listen to some house music. I find the house party scene is just like you're converting people live on the fly, and it's just like you see their reaction of just like oh, what kind of music is this? It's like, oh, you know, and they start getting into it, and then they'll start asking me questions like, whoa, who is that? And like, you know, and then I see the excitement in them. So like for me, that's probably my favorite thing as a DJ, is probably one of the things that I don't know, I feel like we take for granted is just planting that seed of music, right? You know, just
Yeah.
giving that person that first time of like, whoa, this is different. We can, you know, like
Yeah.
this is a whole other vibe. So I definitely I prefer seeing that, and I find I see that a lot more in like the house party scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely do. Not to say that I don't like the club scene
Of
as well.
course.
It's great. You know, everyone's there to have a great time. They're dancing. You can manipulate the dancers a lot more there as well. You know, you see
Yeah.
people that are really into it, and you like get them going. But yeah, the house party scene, I just like seeing people get converted. Yeah.
I hear you for sure. And so you mentioned Beyond City Beats. So you've become a regular at Beyond City Beats events. So how has that, like this community, impacted your growth as an artist?
Well, it's massively impacted my growth and just given me confidence as well. Like, I was maybe a few months in and I'm already practicing on 3000s and a V10, you know, and like I talk to other friends of mine that are DJs and they're like, whoa, like you're learning on a spaceship and like you don't even know how to drive, you know. It's just like, whoa. But it's cool, you know, like that's opportunities that I find that like especially us like local people that are like trying to like break out that need that experience is then you know, you don't want to get there when it comes to like, you know, the gig is set up and you see it's a V10 and you don't understand any of it and you're just like, you know, you don't want that. And it's just like you're meeting other people in the community that are on the same boat as you, as like, you know, we're all trying to just, you know, get a gig or, you know, play around for people, meet people, you know, send music and all that. Like, for example, like me and like Karen, you know, and like Alex as well, you know, and Zach and all those great guys, a bunch of very great people that come out in the community. And it's uplifting, you know, like we sit there, like, for example, the last time before the power went out, you know, Alex and I were sitting there for like 3 hours. I was just picking his brain because he has so much experience with like, you know, the business side of it and all this and all that. And I'm just like trying to like get all this knowledge. And you don't really it's kind of hard to get that in the club scene because, you know what I mean, the music's blaring, people got drinks in them. It's not the time or place. Exactly. Right? You know, no one wants to talk like that. Whereas you get this hunger and you see other people that are hungry for the same thing. So you kind of just feed off of each other. Yeah. Right. And yeah, no, it's super cool. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And then this, you know, like, this is super cool.
Oh, I'm happy you're enjoying it. So what's next for He-Menace? Any upcoming gigs or projects, or like what are you excited about? I mean, what's happening?
Honestly, I'm keeping it super go with the flow. I think this year my goal is definitely going to be to just probably try to launch some events independently, you know, try to get something going with that. Try to branch out from like, I love the bass community, I love the D&B community and like the tech house, but trying to just carve my own little path of just like, you know, there's something else, you know, just a little, you know, something out of the ordinary, you know. Okay. So I definitely want to been picking people's brains and figuring out how to get that going. So yeah, that'll definitely be the goal for this year, is to try to create my own community and then start, you know, sharing and exploring.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll be
fun.
And
I mean, tell us where you're heading to in like 48 hours.
I'm headed back to Rain Dance Hostel. I'm gonna be playing there again. I'm also gonna be doing Playa Mango as well. Might be getting some other gigs while we're down there. We're still seeing. I'm going with a DJ friend of mine, Nico Couture. The two of us are going. We're going to be doing some back-to-backs down there, different sets. We want to keep it chill, but at the same time, you know, obviously play and have fun. So, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. We're going to be there for like 2 weeks, roughly. Nice. And then
very exciting,
super exciting.
So we're gonna have a set from your performance, or your sunset set there gonna be available hopefully, and so I'm really excited to experience that, not in the beautiful setting of Nicaragua, but I'll close my eyes and imagine
I'll do my
best
to take you there.
Thank you.
I'll do my best to take you there.
So for the final question, I wanted to know, what advice would you give to other aspiring DJs who are trying to break into the scene?
I'd say one that was like a hard pill for me to swallow, but it's just, you gotta be cool with sucking at things at first. You know, like it's pretty tough to just, like, some people are naturals and they get really good at things immediately, but everybody has to experience that learning curve. Like, don't let that defeat you. You know, it's just like, just because you weren't good this week, next week keep trying, and just be comfortable with, you know, people being like, no, not this time. No, not this time. It's normal. It's fine. Everybody goes through it. It's not anything to discourage you. You know what I mean? It just takes time. Just keep knocking. Eventually, you know, that door will open, and enjoy it. You know, find music you're passionate about and share it. You know, like that's one thing that like I try to keep with myself is like I don't, if it's not something that I'm very passionate for, that I really enjoy, that moves me, I'm not playing it. You know? And you know, don't sell out. Stay authentic. Do your thing. Yeah, that would be probably the best advice I could give. Yeah,
I like that. Very good advice. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with me, and I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'll see you on the dance floor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Nice. That was great.
Super cool.
Looked great and sounded awesome. How'd it feel?
Felt good.
Good. Yeah. Naturals over
Right?
here. Wow. Love it.
Yeah. No, I think that was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Cool.